Guys, so let's look to get cracking. So we're not going to hang around. Let's work our way through this presentation quite quickly. Hopefully you're having a good, what day is today? Thursday. Somehow it's a week after last week. So let's have a quick look. So again, today, the whole purpose of this presentation is to give you some kind of framework to being able to run a 5K. But also on top of that is learning to balance training and a demanding work schedule. So the template that we're using to explain this today, you can get your hands on as well. Just send me an email if you want the template. Any supporting documents that I can share with you, like the program, the actual running program, I'll share that with you too. So let's get cracking into this. So really what it boils down to is consistency. Like anything, if you want to run a 5K, you have to decide the date you're going to actually do it. And typically, usually people want to do it sooner than later. We're saying give yourself at least 6 weeks. I'd advise on actually extending that timeline. Always look at trying to get stronger or looking to get run a 5K. Look at it a minimum of 12-week block. But in this case, we're going to give you a 6-week program to be able to not run a 5K right now, but to be able to run a 5K, run it confidently within 6 weeks. Couple of points. You need to be able to balance your training and demanding work schedule. I think that goes without saying. So we're going to give you a little bit of a structure to be able to manage that. And also to actually look into how many hours you're actually spending exercising. So for example, if you're spending 3 hours in the gym, but you're only spending 1 hour on actual running program, well, the results are going to be more so towards the gym. So whatever time you put into it, they're the results that you get back from it. And also going to briefly discuss process outcome goals, which is basically if you follow the process or a process, then you get X outcome. So we run through that really quickly. This week, just to follow up on one or two questions that were key, they're asked. Sean gave a really good summary on the whole topic of, is there a way of losing fat without counting calories? So when he was doing that and talking through it, he basically explained a couple of points. And the first point he uses using your hands as measurements, but I want to throw in a few extra points on that as well. So again, Sean spoke about CECO formula, which is basically calories in versus calories out. So the more you actually exercise, the more calories you expend. And then the more you consume, the more food you consume past what you need, the more fat you'll put on. Now, it's not as directly correlated till I'll just starve myself and keep running and keep moving. Because if you're starving yourself, if you're eating under calories, under your basic metabolic rate, which is the basic amount of calories your body needs to sustain muscle mass, you're going to run yourself into the ground, or you're going to do so much exercise, burn calories, that you'll end up with a skinny, gauntly, sickly look, and injuries will come, and you'll have that yo-yo effect with your weight. So remember that it's not as simple as I'll just starve myself, not eat anything. You need a certain amount of calories. Say, for example, if I had 2,000 calories to stay exactly how I am, but if I'm exercising on top of that, then I need to consider and work at that formula. So you can get access to that formula as well. But just some points to add on to Sean's is that a couple of quick key points that some people use is that to lose fat is that they're eating their food throughout the day, but coming towards the evening time, some tricks that some people use is they went to bed a little bit hungry. So going to bed a little bit hungry can be a quick cheat to be able to kind of find your way around that. But also another thing is maybe lowering carbohydrate intake, especially in your main meals. Say, for example, if you're eating carbohydrates as before and after work, it is when you want to try and do that. But the main reason why we're trying to say is that you do need to use MyFitnessPal to work out how many calories you actually need, is because you do have that basic metabolic rate. And if you're not actually familiar with how many calories you're actually eating, and if you're constantly under eating and you're starving yourself or trying whatever diet, is that it will eventually affect your hair, your skin, your body shape. So it is important that you use MyFitnessPal as a tool for 7 to 14 days to kind of get used to how many calories am I eating, what am I eating, and am I hitting that basic metabolic rate so that my body can function naturally. Also, finally, on that point is making sure that you're aware of eating real food. Sean touched on that, but also as well is that the bigger goal that you have of, say, for example, if you wanted to tone up, get stronger, is that goal that you're working towards. You need to set a timeline. And within that timeline, what I would advise is eat the same amount of food, maybe move a little bit more. Okay, maybe use that formula. Or also cutting out alcohol is a key point. Again, you want your gut bacteria to be working and functioning well, meaning that if you're drinking alcohol, it can disrupt sleep, it can disrupt a lot of things. It can also interrupt the ability for your body to burn fat optimally. So maybe cut that out for 5 or 6 weeks. And also is be aware of hitting calories. Is another point I'd like to add on to Sean's, is that like I'll just have 1 or 2 biscuits here and there, like 1 or 2 biscuits here and there, they all add up. By all means, you can have chocolate every day if you want. There's no problem in doing that. But if you don't know how much you should actually be eating or how much food is in these 3 squares of chocolate, like for example, there's only around 200 calories in a Magnum. By all means, you can have pretty much 1 of them a day, but where does it fit? So you need to use MyFitnessPal as a tool, but there are some points there that you might take and use. The other point is, a couple of people are struggling with routine, to get routine. Be aware of what's important to you, is the key takeaway point in that. You're going to have peaks and troughs in your training. You're going to have a really good week. Maybe last week was a good week, or flying routine, and maybe this week kind of shit, so to speak, has hit the fan. A lot of our clients are very career driven, and work is their highest priority. As an example, for example, maybe you might look at people think, excuse me, it's a bit easier. Somebody like, for example, Sean, it's for him, his bigger goal. So this is the process outcome goals that we're talking about. For him, his outcome goal is to play inter-county for Galway. He wants to get on that team next year. That's a big bloody goal. So it's much easier for him to work towards that. Rob's goal is he wants to get faster on the pitch. So those goals that they have, that's their main focus. My focus is different. My focus is actually work in my career. I'm getting towards 30. My focus has changed. So what is my focus? My focus is to maintain my body shape, maintain a kind of athletic physique, and also be able to do X, Y, and Z. But from that, and what I'm getting at is that I have a standard, but I also have a minimum standard. My minimum standard is to go to the gym 3 times per week, do my main lifts, and get my assistance work done. Now that will keep me there. So if your minimum standard is coming to you in a 13, doing 3 sessions per week, you need to do extra stuff on top of that. So for me to slowly creep towards my goal of maybe getting back on the pitch in February and come back playing hurling, is that I need to do some running on the side. So bad week for me is just do my 3 my 3 gym sessions. A good week is 3 gym sessions done well, done with intent, enough food, being aggressive in them, plus 3 runs per week. So that's why we're going to discuss this in the video, because that also yields an athletic physique. So for example, what I mentioned, Sean and Rob, their main focus, they have their big goal, which is Sean was playing inter-county. Rob needs it for his performance and his contract with Bose. So think about that as well. Think about what's really important to you and navigate around that and be prepared for those peaks and troughs. So that's my good week versus bad week. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. There's a running program which you can get, which I can share with you and send out to you. And I'm going to jump into this straight away. I've talked about those process and outcome goals, but note and take a minute or 30 seconds now is that from watching this and going through the seminar, what outcome do you want? And then from there, you need to follow the correct process. So today I want you to work with me to help you to design that process. Okay, so maybe grab a pen and paper, and I'll give you a minute to ask yourself that question of what outcome do you want from attending this seminar? So how to run a 5K, what outcome do you want? And we together will design that process. So take a minute or 2 to do that now. So I'll give you another 30 seconds, guys, to write down what outcome do you want from this seminar. Myself, Rob, Sean, we're talking about this. We do this every single day. What outcome do I want from today, from my work, from my fitness? Some days we just want to get the training session in. Other days we want to tackle hard. So therefore we eat appropriately for that. We do loads of different things. We change our process for the day. But what outcome do you want from watching this seminar on how to run a 5K? Okay, so now I'm going to change over and share the next slide with you. So to do that, click this. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, exit that. Okay, so hopefully you can see this Google Sheets document now. I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit, or what I'll do is I'll actually hide some of this stuff. So the first thing that I want to do is that I want you to write down at the top of your page, Monday through to Sunday. Okay, so on the top of your page, write down Monday through to Sunday. Okay. Now what I want you to do is down the left-hand side is write what you like doing. So for example, this is what I typically do over the course of a week. I do my gym work. So I do my gym work, and then below that, I walk. Okay. And then below that, I also run. So write down whatever three main activities. For most of us today, it should be gym work, walking, and running. Okay. Now here, what I've done is I've filled out the time that I'm spending. Okay. So I'm spending 3 days per week in the gym. So for example, that's here, I've written it down as 45 minutes. So because I'm writing it down at 45 minutes, because your online strength sessions are 45 minutes. This week, I have decided, okay, I'm going to do them on Monday. I'm going to do them Wednesday, and I'm actually doing them on Thursday. Okay. Now what I'm also going to do is that, I do a bit of a walk on Tuesday. I'm also doing a bit of a walk on Friday. But then as well with my running, I need to fit that in too. So I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes to my running. I'm going to do it here on Tuesday. Then I'm also going to do it on Sunday and Saturday. Immediately though, what you can see and note is that what I'm here on Friday is that Friday I'm doing something every day. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to get at. But on Friday, a walk is just a walk. It's something you need to be hitting 10,000 steps a day. Minimum is what they get. They give you a target for general health. Okay. But that is just active recovery on the Friday. So when I've done this, now what I can do by using this template, I can see where I'm actually spending my time. So here, I want to get better at running, but 47% of my time is going towards the gym, 20% towards walking, and then another 31.58% towards running. So it's not too bad. But if I say, for example, I'm not going to run on this day, I'm actually going to do another online Unit 13 session. 60% of my time in the gym, 20% walking, 20% running. But I want to get better at running. If you want to get better at something, you have to do it more. So if you want to get better at running, you're going to have to do it more. Now there is the whole thing of overdoing it, but that's why we're going to give you a program. So what I want you to do now is let's blank this, okay? Is what I want you to do is just write down what your week actually looks like, okay? So spend 60 seconds. What are you doing Monday to Sunday? Maybe write it out for this week. So 60 seconds, I want you to write down what you typically do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So write that down yourself. What have you done this week? So take 60 seconds to do that now. So what do you do Monday through to Sunday? So for any of us who've just joined, basically what we want you to write down, what do you do exercise-wise Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Walking during the day, like around the office, that doesn't count. What counts is like making time to do a walk. Walking to work and walking from work does count. So what exercise are you doing on each day? Where is your time going? Okay. A couple more seconds. Okay, so perfect. So again, let's go back to, this is my perfect week and I've set it out. Okay, so 0.5. So I'm running gym 3 times per week, and then I'm running 3 times a week. The walk, I'm just going to count as casual to clear my head. Okay. Now what we need to look at is, okay, running wise, I want to start running, but there's a couple of rules with that. Some pillars to train by. The first thing is like anything, if I ask you to put together an IKEA flat pack, with that IKEA flat pack, what do? You follow the instructions to a T. If you've ever bought a bed from IKEA, the length of those instructions is huge, and you get one thing kind of wrong, it can kind of skew the whole thing. So what I'm saying is that if you're giving a plan and your goal is to actually run a 5K, follow the plan. Just follow it. What I did when I used to be a highly competitive middle distance runner, so track and field and also cross country, running 60 miles per week. I don't advise you doing that. When I was doing that, how we were so successful was that our program is written down for every single day. Every tiny detail went into it, like what I'm going to show you now. We followed it to the T, and sometimes to the detriment of our own health because we weren't self-aware enough to notice little injuries, little niggles, that we weren't actually eating enough. So that's the first thing, is just follow the plan. Second thing as well is be self-aware of injuries. If you've never competed in kind of elite level sport, it's harder for people to understand muscle soreness, joint soreness, and compare that to an actual injury. It's harder for them to understand, is this an injury or is this just general soreness? So ask your coach if you're not too sure, but be self-aware of injuries, don't overdo it. Key point as well is, if you're going running a 5K and you are somebody who's maybe quite slight, like myself, if I don't eat my calories right, and if I don't use my FitnessPal to make sure that I'm eating enough, and I only use it for a week while I start my running program, what happens is, for me, I start burning muscle mass and the weight falls off me, end up with that skinny, gauntly look. That is not what you want. So make sure you're eating enough. But if you're trying to tone up, you're just under on those calories. We can talk about that again. Stress levels, be aware of your stress levels. If the running session for today is meant to be really intense, maybe you might pull back on the intensity, but still put your running shoes out, run down to the road, see how you feel. Might actually feel better by getting that running session in. Hydration, you need to stay hydrated, make sure you're sleeping, but also understand why you're actually doing it. So when you're putting your runners on, you're thinking, oh shit, I have to test this 5K in 6 weeks, or damn it, I have to run that 5K with my pal in 10 weeks time. That's your goal that you're working towards. You want to do it to the best of your ability, but you want to follow that program as well. So the actual running program, the way I've written it is, and you'll get access to it, I've written it for a total newbie, somebody who's never ever ran before, somebody who might struggle with niggles, injuries, who might find themselves, I feel self-conscious, I feel that I'm a bit overweight at the moment, I'm worried about doing this and hurting myself. It can be for anybody and everybody, but you can always do a bit more, is what I'm saying. So if you start this program, do it for a week and it's too easy, you might jump on to the program, but ask your coach which one will suit you best. I'm going to discuss for those who might have ran a little bit before, okay, and they're light on their feet, or they feel like they're light on their feet. I'll explain that later. The focus of this program is to try and grow towards doing a good 5K. It's not a thing of trying to just finish it. You want to run it and run it well. The way we've broken it down is that we've considered that you might be doing 3 gym sessions per week. So what we're also sticking in here is that you're doing 3 gym sessions a week. This is done on top of it. Here's week 1. 30 minutes every day is dedicated towards your running program. Day 1, you're going to walk for 10 minutes and then do some stretches. Make sure you get sweating. You might walk/jog, that's fine. Then what you're going to do at 60% effort, you can see that here in red, is you're going to run for 1 minute, walk for 1 minute. The reason I start people off doing that is that when you're starting off getting back into running, I don't like people starting off and just shuffling along the ground, because when you're shuffling, you're bent over, you're scraping the ground with your feet, is actually to run a little bit and get used to that pace of what it feels like to run at that 60%. Then once they've done that 5 times, it takes 10 minutes. They then walk for 10 minutes. There's also a note here of that day 1 is to be able to hold a conversation while you're doing that running. Okay, so over the duration of 1 minute work, 1 minute rest, which is 10 minutes, you should be able to hold a conversation somewhat over that 10 minutes. Day 2, you see the volume creeps up to 6 repetitions of 1 minute on, 1 minute off. And day 3, we're actually running straight for 13 minutes. Okay, but it's done at 50%. So the format is always a bit of a warm up. Then you're going to run/walk. And then you're going to do your running session, then you're going to walk at the end. As the weeks move on, it's the same kind of format. You can kind of see that week 2, it goes from 1 minute to 2 minutes running. Okay. And then it goes from 13 minutes to 17 minutes. Week 3, the time goes to 20 minutes. Notice that I don't actually do anything whatsoever on distance. Okay. The idea is increasing the time on your feet and increasing intensity. If we look down here to the bottom, week 1, day 1, day 2, day 3, we have accumulated 34 minutes of an elevated heart rate over the course of those 3 days. The elevated heart rate is the actual main running bit. That's what I'm calculating. That adds up 10, 11, and 13. That adds 34 minutes. But the amount of time they actually spend running and pounding the ground is 24 minutes. Each week, the program is something similar as week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goes on. But note, the amount of time that you're pounding the ground goes from a total of 24 minutes to 35 to 44 and it increases as the time goes on and eventually ends up at 52 minutes. What that teaches your body is allows you to tolerate and have a strong kind of running posture and be able to be confident then when you go to run that 5K. But notice the weeks go on, we're running 20 minutes. And as we go here, the intensity starts going up. Then we're going to set at the end of week 7, we're going to do our actual running 5K. So here, what you can also do is that when I'm running here in these runs, and this is my final note on this program, when you're doing those day 3 long runs and you're running them, start MyFitnessPal, and that will, sorry, not MyFitnessPal, download Map My Run. And then when you use Map My Run, you can then start it on minutes that you started. And then over 20 minutes, you can actually see the distance you're covering. Because each week you're going to get faster, faster, faster. So you might find yourself, you've covered 3K in 20 minutes. And now 5K doesn't seem as daunting. Now you know that you can run 3K at X pace. So why not push to 5K? So it makes it a lot more comfortable to hit it. So overall, it's a 3-day program. You always start off by warming up, then follow the program and then move on. So it's a 6-week program. You can get this if you need it. Next, really, that's pretty much most of the things. If there's any questions, guys, now is the time to start putting those questions in. So basically, there's the program. Follow it. If you want some advice on which one you should do, then make sure to ask. Okay, it might be a question. Hope there is. Just email me for the program, guys. I'm pretty sure, will I be sending it? I'll be sending it out after this. Okay, I will send a program after this to you all. Okay, so I will send out that running program to all of you. If you want the template on how to kind of manage your week, then I can send that out separately. Email me if you don't get it, info@unit13fitness.ie. Okay, so to finish up, Project Reboot Plus, let's do it again, like we always do it. What are your goals for the next 6 weeks? I want you now, you should be easily able to write that down off the top of your head. But note, those goals, have they changed? So please God, you're actually using one of these diaries and look to see if your goals have actually shifted and changed. Maybe your goals are too big, but you should make those goals quite big and be aggressive over the next 6 weeks with actually trying to attain them now that you have the chance. So write down at the top of your head, but make sure to know, is it the same as last week? Are you actually focused on that goal? To recap, remember your toolkit, guys. Be organized, use a diary, pen and paper, set alarms throughout the day for when you should be doing X, Y, and Z, and use your Google Calendar to map out your week, and make sure you use that calendar to map in and fit in your gym time. Plan. Plan in your gym sessions, schedule them at the start of the week. Don't schedule them as you go. That is the worst thing you can do, is, I'll schedule my session for tomorrow. Did I schedule my session for tonight? Plan it at the start of the week. Take half an hour to plan your week. I like doing that on Sunday night. Utilize that WhatsApp group. Both WhatsApp groups for Project Reboot are absolutely flying. So huge well done to anybody participating in that. It's so important that you post and engage in that, because that accountability and social aspect will help drag you through the tough times. Shopping list planning. Make sure plan your shopping list. Don't go shopping hungry. And then finally as well is that toolkit. I don't like using MyFitnessPal religiously. I personally only ever use it for a week at a time. I use it for 1 week, then eat the same stuff for the following 3 weeks, but take note of what you're actually eating. There will be a full tutorial on MyFitnessPal and managing calories and counting those numbers that will be coming in following weeks. Make sure you fill out your Google Sheets. Those 8 questions. Everybody involved in Project Reboot has done it. If you want access to this as well, you can get it, no problem whatsoever. We usually do this anyway with people on their bi-weekly phone calls. Remember this triangle. So the final part of it, I think this is the final part of it. Yes. So the final part of it is, I love using this triangle. Every single day I wake up and I can see this triangle in my head. I think work, my personal life, my fitness. I make sure I plan out my day with my work. I make sure personal life with my partner, that I actually think about that and make sure, okay, I'll cook dinner tonight. Do I have everything for dinner? Yes, so don't forget about that. And then fitness wise, okay, what do I need to do fitness wise? What do I plan for today? I'm doing this. So think about that triangle. I like having that in my head at all times. Finally, 6-week seminar overview. As we said, we're going to slightly tweak things as we go along based on what we hear from our clients. Next week, we're basically evaluating week 1 and week 2, how we've gotten on so far, but also discussing altering lifestyle, what balanced programming is. So, for example, what balanced program is from an exercise strength perspective, making sure we're touching base. Basically, it's a whole review of the past 2 weeks and what we're doing so far. Week 4 is an interesting one. Calorie management, making sure that you're eating enough calories, but also making sure you're not eating too much. So how to actually calculate your calories to lose fat while maintaining a muscle mass, and also other techniques around calorie management. We'll also throw in snacking there. Week 5, we're going to go into a lot more detail on running 5Ks, a more advanced program on top of that. Some people might find that that program I send on now today might be too easy. And then week 6 is, again, revisiting the goals, talking about intent. And this will be a group chat between myself, Rob, and Sean. And we'll be sharing our overall opinions on not people individually, but we're sharing our own kind of personal experiences through lockdown. We're sharing our own personal kind of goals. But overall, we'll be talking about, okay, motivation. So that last 6 one, that one on week 6 is kind of about motivation, so to speak. I don't like that word. Any other questions, guys? Make sure to ask. Is your action list as well? Okay, so here's a question coming in. Just let me read it and read it back. Main problem I have with running is being competitive with myself by trying to run. Sorry, let me read this out again. The main problem I have with running is being competitive with myself by trying to run a 5K within X amount of time and end up starting off too fast and never getting to do the full 5K because I run out of steam by the end. That is a prime example. And what Louise has said before that, she commented saying that that's a great idea with running for distance. When we were running, our cross-country races were 8K, 8 kilometers over cross-country mud in Ireland in the wintertime. We never went by distance. The only time we went by distance was when we were doing interval training, which we'll talk about in the more advanced program. We ran for time. Like, for example, Thursday was 30 minutes in the morning, gentle jog, stretch, mobility work. And then in the evening, it was a 60-minute tempo. And our coach constantly changed the route so we didn't get competitive, because training is training. It's follow the program, get it in, get it done, and then get competitive with yourself on the actual, on D-Day, so to speak. You can be a little bit competitive with yourself on day 3 of this program, by the way, guys, because you're setting 20-minute time or whatever the timer is, and you just start running, but you want to remember the pacing. But hopefully that will help. Any other questions, guys? Make sure to ask. How long have we been going? 30 minutes. Excellent. For once, I haven't gone too long. So that's pretty much it, guys. If there's any other questions, I'll hang on for another 60 seconds or so. You've all been added to the WhatsApp group. Make sure to engage on them. Attend your check-ins, guys. I think there was full attendance from both groups last night, so huge well done. There'll be huge value in them too. Attend your classes, attend the seminars. You'll always get some value from them. And also that quiz that will be coming up, attend that. Sure, why not? It's good crack. But that is it. So any final questions, just ask. Hopefully that was some value. It's always weird doing these seminars because there's no people in front of you. Okay. Any other questions? I don't think so. So I shall